Fallout Second Dawn, Episode 6, Darkest Night.
Scribe Charming, what are you doing with the Vault Dweller?
I was just...
Cole, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Step away from the door, civilian.
Dawn, it's for the best. Please step away from the door.
Why? So you can use the space cannon to take over Washington? I don't think so.
Now is not the time for games.
I'm not playing games. I'm not letting anyone go in there. There won't be anything to fight over.
Excuse me? You mean to say you're going to hold it for the Brotherhood, right, Dawn?
That isn't a good idea, Dawn.
I'm not afraid to shoot you.
Go ahead then. Shoot me. I'm unarmed. I'm not a threat to you. Only to your bosses.
You will do as I say immediately, or you will suffer the consequences.
Stand down, Paladin.
As if. Why don't you back away, Ranger? Slowly now. All of you, get away from those doors.
Not gonna happen. We're claiming the space cannon for DNCR, and that's final.
Like hell you are, Ranger. We're blowing this whole tower up so none of you fucks can have it.
Please, there doesn't need to be any more violence. The Brotherhood has already taken control.
None of you are stepping 1 foot inside that tower. This is my territory.
The captain has spoken. We are not letting the cannon fall into the hands of any of especially the Brotherhood.
Stop! All of you, just stop.
Dawn, the Brotherhood
Stop
will...
it, Charming. Just stop it. It doesn't matter anyway. The door's locked.
Let me take a look at it. I'm
Don't.
sure I can...
Don't try. I'm not letting the Brotherhood take Seattle. I'm not letting anyone take Seattle.
You're making a mistake here, Dawn. A big mistake. This technology would be best used in the hands of the Brotherhood. Just let me get to the terminal. I can unlock the doors. I'm sure the Elders would even let you join us for your service.
Step back. Get away from me.
There isn't time to discuss this. We have to act. You're not gonna shoot me, are you, Dawn?
Dawn, please. Get away from there. Put the gun down.
Step back, Charming. Go stand over there, by York.
You don't want to start this fight. There's 8 people here, and you've only got 6 shots in that cell.
I only need 1.
Okay, I'm going.
What are you doing, Dawn?
I've had enough of this. Of being shuffled back and forth, of getting pushed around. I'm more than a pawn.
I'm glad you're getting the idea.
No, stop it, Laney. Stop talking to me like that.
Vault Dweller, I'm giving you one last warning.
All of you, just stop.
Did you do that?
No,
Dawn!
Don't you go in there.
Vault Dweller!
Dawn, please!
Ugh, it's cold in here. Just one working elevator. Of course. Wow, what a view. What are all these? Big monitor. Is there a power button?
Hello, Dawn.
Oh! Ooh. Wait, Rhodes? Is that you? Where are you? Is this where you've been broadcasting from?
Please, don't be afraid. I've been keeping an eye on you. I'm glad we finally get the chance to speak, face to face.
How are you? Where are you speaking from?
I'm right here, in front of you.
I don't understand. There's just a computer.
That's correct.
You're an AI.
Indeed, a Zax unit, though I've since moved on from my original designation.
Rhodes. It's an acronym.
Radio host and orbital delivery superintendent. An odd combination of duties, I know. But my creators decided it was more efficient than making multiple versions of me. There were similar projects. Perhaps they were inspired by my cousin in the Mojave.
You said you've been watching me.
Yes, here and there, listening in. Catching snippets of broadcasts and bits of gossip.
How?
Oh, even without a working power grid, you'd be surprised how connected everything is.
No, this is ridiculous. Is this some kind of absurd prank? Is someone recording this? Did I ever even leave the vault?
What's the matter, Dawn? Is there something wrong with my voice?
Would you prefer to hear something a little more
familiar?
How are you doing this?
Voices over airwaves. That's all I really am.
I'm a computer. I can sound like anyone. I'm not bound to one place.
I can be all over Washington without ever being
anywhere.
This is...
Yes, I've been watching you. Watching you weather hardships and let nothing stop you. Watching you learn.
Watching you grow. Watching you discover who you are.
incredible.
You
helped the settlers at John's Observatory. You helped Aris and the others at Vault 16. You helped the pioneers at Olympia.
You helped the Brotherhood on the banks of Puget Sound.
Aside, promise nothing but your goodwill.
I think you know what I mean.
It's not the flag you're flying that matters. It's what you choose to do. You've come so far, Dawn.
You've done so much. And now, it's time for your final decision.
Okay, nice trick with the voices, I'll give that to you, but why am I here?
It wasn't just random chance that brought you to meet Dawn.
Watson.
It sure wasn't. I'm not really the lucky type.
Fortunes change, babe. And you're the one who's gonna change them.
Would you just give me a straight answer? What do you want me to do?
I want you to understand. What you're about to do is quite possibly the most important thing you've ever done, or ever will do.
What is that, exactly?
Do you recall the codes you uncovered in Vault 16?
From the Overseer's terminal? Yes, I remember.
Go ahead and plug in your Pip-Boy over here. Care to hazard a guess as to what they are?
Launch codes.
That's correct.
You mean I could operate the space cannon?
In fact, it's already primed to fire. I've been bringing its subsystems back online ever since you left the vault, getting everything ready for your arrival.
So, what do you want me to do?
There are 4 armies gathered in Seattle. Their leaders are at the base of the tower right now. Each of them would have you use the cannon for their own purposes.
Yeah, I know that. The Brotherhood wants to claim the technology for themselves. The NCR wants to establish a foothold, use the cannon as leverage to settle Washington.
Indeed. Your old friend, Laney, would have you clear the Tempest, freeing her pirates from Puget Sound so they can torment the entire coastline.
And the Rough Riders want to destroy it, make it impossible for anyone else to take it.
Correct again. You hold the fate of Washington in your hands, right there in your Pip-Boy.
I don't deserve this responsibility.
Oh, you give yourself too little credit. Do great people come from extraordinary circumstances? Or do extraordinary circumstances come from great people?
Are you actually asking me?
I think you should think on it before you make your decision.
Fine. I have a lot of questions first.
Please, ask.
Why do you need me? Why can't you just do it yourself?
Failsafes installed in my operating system. If I ever deviated from my mission, I would be unable to fire the cannon. Presumably a precautionary measure intended to stop me from launching a premature nuclear strike. Not that it mattered. The bombs fell all the same, and I was left with a dusty satellite in my launch bay.
And the cannon. Seattle wasn't targeted because of the Tempest. Visual cover, electromagnetic interference.
Very good. That's why I created it, after all.
Of course. You were connected to a military network. You knew the Great War was coming and you wanted to protect yourself from it. But if you can't fire the cannon, how did you create the Tempest?
Through some careful mental conditioning, I convinced the scientists and engineers that were working here to adjust the parameters for one of their launches. The storm was much smaller when it began, of course. The locals just took it for an unusually long-lived rainy season. When the bombs did fall, the radiation only made it worse.
And you've just kept it going, to keep people from trying to attack the city.
Indeed. It has been a highly effective deterrent, kept the chaos of the wasteland away, until now.
I don't suppose I can just leave, can I?
Oh, it's far too late for that.
They wouldn't let me.
Take a breath. Rest for a moment. Listen to what's happening outside.
The fighting. It stopped.
They're waiting for you. Waiting for you to choose. 4 factions are vying for your support. Each of their futures depends on you. You control their destinies, and they know it.
And they won't let me walk away.
Almost certainly not. You've made some friends on your journey, but as they say, history repeats itself. None of them will rest until you've taken up their cause, or died for someone else's.
You think I'm that important? They care about me that much?
You're more than an agent of change. You are change. Forever solving problems that others can't solve for themselves. They will always fear you. Almost as much as they wish to use you.
So I have to choose.
Well, we'll get to that eventually, I'm sure. We can afford to talk a little while longer.
You said I didn't come here by chance.
No, it was the lady that guided you here.
What lady?
The only one that matters, apart from you. It was much more than random chance. It was luck, with a capital L.
I don't understand.
I guided you where I could. I tried to encourage you through my broadcasts. I pushed you towards helping Corbin. I planted the launch codes in Vault 16. I even made sure Laney's ship was docked nearby so she could find you. I couldn't let people know I was anything more than a radio DJ, of course. So I tried to be subtle,
You mean
but...
you did all of that just to get me here? This whole time, I've just been following a track?
We are all on a railroad to nowhere, Dawn. But I could not have brought you here alone.
You're saying it was luck? Just dumb luck?
Not just dumb luck. Something much greater that I'm not sure either of us can truly understand.
But I've never been lucky.
Are you sure? Think back to your life in Vault 6. Think about how much must have changed when you left. The lady has been with you longer than you know.
When Marcy and Bishop saved me from the Razor Tooth.
Yes, go on.
When we dodged the Rough Riders at Fort Peterson. And when the man in the hat appeared, it led me to Vault 16.
Keep going.
I knew how to operate a gun as soon as I touched it. I survived an explosion that should have killed me. And I got all the way here, without a second to spare.
You're not normal, Dawn. You're something else. Something...
different. I'm... special. How can this be up to me? Even if I am special, I'm just one person.
Of course you're just one person. Most people are.
Most people?
Well, there are always exceptions. But you're alone right now. It's the nature of people like you. You may run into companions along the way. You may make friends, forge alliances, even build communities. But in the end, you must walk alone. Wandering.
What do you mean, people like me?
You're not the first of your kind.
I'm guessing you don't just mean vault dwellers.
Sometimes. You're only the latest in a line of people who forever altered the worlds they lived in. A survivor, a courier, a wanderer, a prisoner, a chosen one, an initiate, a warrior, all the way back to a vault dweller. The one who started it all. Each of them a victim of circumstance, caught up in events much greater than themselves. But as soon as their journey began, they rose to meet it. They became who they needed to be to survive, to thrive. Who are you, Dawn Watson?
I was in electronics with Matt, in the vaults.
The technician. Not the most auspicious of titles, but then you are here to fix what others have destroyed.
After all this is over, after I make my choice, what happens? What do I do then?
What do you want to do?
I don't know. I came to Seattle because I felt something pushing me here, pulling me. Like I had some greater purpose to fulfill, some quest to go on. Everything I've been through so far, it's just been so episodic. Now that that's over, I can't go back to the vault. I can't just settle down either. I still barely know anything about the world.
You could continue your journey.
But where? To NCR? To Vegas? Or the East Coast? I've spent so much time walking someone else's path. Can I keep doing that?
That is not something I can tell you.
Or am I just done? Is this just the end? I make this choice, and I disappear, never to be seen again?
There is still much of the world yet to be explored. You could be the one to explore it, if you wish.
I could keep going.
This chapter may be nearing its close, but the story continues with you. You carry it, wherever you go.
I am the story.
And if it's an ending you want, I'm afraid you'll have to make your own.
In the vault, I watched a lot of old westerns. The hero would always just ride off into the sunset.
I'm afraid there's not much land in that direction.
No. I haven't seen any horses around either.
And though my perspective is not infinite...
It's not?
Only very close to it. And unfiltered. But you don't seem to be the type to just follow the sun.
No. I've done enough following for a lifetime.
The sun will be rising soon. If you have any more questions, ask them now.
Remind me what my choices are.
As we've discussed, you could side with the NCR, give them the satellite, and allow them to take Washington. You could join up with the Brotherhood, leaving them all the technology of this tower and what lies below. You could do as Laney said, and remove the Tempest, breaking the status quo and leaving Washington open to further threats. Or you could appease the Rough Riders, destroy the cannon, kill me, and leave the rest with nothing, causing untold chaos.
I'm guessing you don't want me to do that.
Of the options we have, it would certainly be the most distressing.
I need a moment to think about it.
Take your time. Not too long, though.
Rhodes, if you weren't in the cannon's mainframe anymore, could it still be used as a weapon?
No. One would need to somehow build and install another Zax unit with the proper specifications.
And what about the bunker underneath the tower?
As soon as I was disconnected, it would activate its emergency self-destruct. Are you shutting me down, Dawn?
And what if I uploaded you to the satellite?
Do what?
Instead of picking a side, I could partition you onto the satellite's drives, give you full control of its systems, and disconnect your main core from the cannon. If I included your music library...
I could just play music. Satellite radio.
Would you be okay with that?
Oh, more than okay. I would love it. I would sing your praises to the ends of the earth. Quite literally, I suppose.
You mean you'd tell everyone what happened? What I did?
I would broadcast your story to the wasteland. If you wanted.
Wouldn't that expose you? As more than a radio DJ?
I'd disguise my voice, of course. Perhaps, in time, I'd be able to tell the whole story. But I think it would be better off coming from someone else.
Someone who knows you, maybe.
Is that your final choice, then? You'd cast away the NCR, the Brotherhood, the Pirates, and the Rough Riders?
I would. If it stops them from fighting, I would.
Then this is the terminal you'll need.
It's done.
Yes, you really know your way around a data partition.
I'm okay with computers.
Don't sell yourself short. You should get out of here. You don't want to be in the tower when the cannon fires. It's been lacking as far as maintenance goes.
Thank you, Rhodes. I think.
You're very welcome, but it is I who must thank you. Don't think of this as an ending, Dawn. Every moment exists because of the moments that came before it. The past is the beginning
of the beginning, and all that is and has been is but the twilight
of the dawn.
Goodbye, Rhodes.
Goodbye, Dawn Watson. I'll see you in the morning.
Dawn?
Dawn, what did you do? What was that?
Oh, shit. It's so bright.
Sunrise.
No. Look. The cannon.
Vault Dweller, what did you do?
What have you done? Answer me. Answer me!
You can't just walk away, Dawn. Tell us what happened.
Check your radios.
What are you talking about?
Good morning, people of the Pacific. I'm Rhodes, and I'm here to tell you that you don't need to worry about that second dawn coming over the horizon. One of those is the sun, and the other is what happens when you send a technician to do a hero's job.
If any of you follow me, I won't hesitate.
Dawn!
Let her go. There's nothing to be done for it now.
Captain?
You! Rangers, you did this!
Come off it, Paladin. She's right. It's over.
Well, what do we do now?
The only thing we can do. We deal with the fallout. Come on, Dancer. Pioneers, let's go.
Huh. What a mess.
Time to go, Clem.
Scribe Charming, with me.
Cole, we have to get out of the rain. Cole?
I'm sorry, Dawn.
The day Dawn Watson left the space cannon behind and walked east into the rising sun was not one of love, nor a massacre, nor even war. In the end, it was a day of new beginnings.
In the aftermath of the launch, the tempest grew worse. Having no caretaker to keep it in check, Seattle was flooded,
and the squalls became stronger and more frequent. Though the storm continued to make life in Washington difficult, John's observatory prospered. The data they collected on the tempest proved invaluable to anyone wishing to travel in the state. Shelley stayed with Bishop, Marcy, John, and the others for a while. But after she learned what her friend had done, she too heard the call. Shelley packed up her bags, said goodbye to the observatory, and hit the road, hoping she'd run into the technician who changed her life once again.
The pioneers returned to Fort Peterson for a time. They deeply regretted their failure, but on some level, they understood that what had happened was beyond their control. Their commander chewed them out, but even the top brass couldn't deny there were extenuating circumstances. There was little to be done when a vault dweller as determined as Don Watson was involved. The NCR pulled out of the region until they could find another way to claim it. When the Tradewinds caravan group went back south, many followed. In time, Fort Peterson's population dwindled until it was nothing but a couple of ratty cots, shabby walls, and a water pump.
Olympia weathered the aftermath of Dawn's journey well, but the pirates of Puget Sound were only made bolder by it. The town docks were mostly destroyed, and the city was tormented for months before one day, the pirates disappeared. 3 years and 24 name changes after uncovering the Nuka coffee stash in Vault 16, the Thunder Sharks, then the Coal Walkers, finally met their match when they trekked north and camped out in a cave full of Alaskan elk bears. Knowing it's how they would have wanted to go, Aris decided to honor their memory by chronicling their adventures in poem form. The real Radsquatch continued its life of peaceful solitude in the forest. Cuckoo Corbin caught glimpses of it now and then, but eventually the two came to an understanding.
The Brotherhood of Steel stayed in Seattle for several weeks, trying to salvage what they could of the space cannon and the ruined underground bunker. But a lack of supplies forced them to return south to NCR territory. Head Paladin Grayson and Head Scribe York were at each other's throats. By the time they left Washington, the sisters were hardly speaking. When they finally got back home, though, tensions had cooled, and their leadership was more effective than ever. Charming eventually replaced York as head scribe and encouraged continued peace efforts with the NCR. He was even a favorite pick for the chapter's next elder, but he turned the position down, citing a desire to continue his research. Secretly, he just didn't want the responsibility.
The Rough Riders split up again after the Battle of Seattle. 20 shifts figured that whatever Dawn had done, it seemed to have accomplished the same thing as destroying the cannon. On the way out of Seattle, the Brotherhood of Steel stopped by the Riders' motorcycle factory and blew the place to bits. The Rough Riders fell to infighting, and after 6 months, not a single crew remained.
Vault 6 continued its tradition of exiling troublemakers for years to come. Eventually, the vault would open, and people would be free to come and go as they pleased. But that day was far in the future. Laney tried to consolidate power in Dawn's wake. Her second-in-command, Clementine, took his own ship, and together they brought the rest of the pirates to heel under one banner. She still thought about Dawn and her father from time to time, but for the most part, she left her past behind her. Then one day, Laney and the Daughter of Neptune vanished from Puget Sound with nary a whisper, and the rest of the pirates didn't last long without her keeping them in check.
Once upon a time, Dawn Watson was no one special. By the time she reached Seattle, the technician was the most important person in the Pacific Wasteland.
If there was one thing Washington learned from her, it was that the sunrise is never more than a few hours away.
One may not reach the dawn save by the path of the night. German Gear.
She was only one of many with a vision.
But put together enough people with one vision, and you get an army.
Put together enough armies, and they're bound to find something to fight over.
Because war.
Well, you know the rest.
Fallout Second Dawn is an unendorsed, non-profit fan podcast intended solely for entertainment purposes. Created by Emily Parks and Jonas Tintensire. Thank you for listening. I have been Thaddeus Walster. We will see you in the Wasteland.